1974 450 SL, and like many other vehicles that have steel fittings, these are not aluminum, these are steel. Now, you still can damage these steel service fittings here by over tightening, even though these are brass. And the good thing, you notice there's no rubber O-ring in there. That's brass that has been machined at the same angle as this machining right here. These are old, good, high quality, really heavy ones. Let me zoom out a little bit. Now, some guys will get overzealous with tightening them with a wrench, and they'll over tighten. And even though brass is softer than steel, you still can crank down on these enough to actually decrease the diameter of that inner hole where you actually bend the edge of the steel over. Now on the aluminum, it's much easier to do. When you over tighten, this gets crunched in a little bit, and when you try to get your service tool down there to change the valve core, you discover as you're undoing the valve core and it's coming up the threads, it hits an edge, because somebody has over tightened it and literally damaged the outer circumference by squeezing the metal inwards. And you don't have to tighten these much. Put a tiny dab of lubricant right on the surface area of the main, not the threads. It's not important to say it. The only area that seals is that little 45-degree taper or 47-degree taper right there on the inside. And the ever most smallest amount, like nylog or something like that, or petroleum jelly, put it in there, and you just go till it's tight. And I forgot what the actual torque specs is, but in the Mercedes manual they actually have a torque spec on the old 1960s and 70s and stuff for these caps. And but anybody who's done 1,000 brass caps on steel, you've done it enough time with the torque wrench, you learn how to do it by hand without causing damage. These don't leak when properly taken care of. They have no O-rings to deteriorate. So even if this was leaking, it wouldn't get through this. Oh, another thing I always do, I always put my nose down here and I give a little smell. Inhale. Oh, that's good stuff, man. Oh yeah, that's good stuff. This is in good condition. It's not highly moisture contaminated, and no propane, no butane smell, no smell of any previous solvents from flushing or anything like that. So when I test this refrigerant, whatever it is, hopefully it'll be pretty good. Another thing, when you're working on one of these old vintage cars like this, and it has this material hose, it's rubber on the inside, material on the outside, it has become extremely brittle inside. It's kind of like really old, 10, 15-year-old spark plug wires. It may not be misfiring right now, but if you have to do that valve cover, and once you bend those spark plug wires out of the way, it gets a whole bunch of little micro cracks in it. And when you put it all back together and put that valve cover on, it might not misfire now, but in a week, all those little cracks, they burn from the high resistance of the arc jumping, and they become bigger gaps inside. And then the customer complains, hey, you did my valve cover 3 days ago and now I have misfires. It was good right when I left your shop, and immediately it started misfiring. Same goes with that. Somebody may say, oh, I didn't discharge the customer's AC. Why is he blaming me, saying the AC is not working? Because you disconnected the compressor, but you left all the hoses and you thought you were the smart guy. And you're gonna bend the compressor out of the way, and you moved it over. Well, you bent these rubber lines, and inside they get a lot of little micro cracks. As soon as you bend these, they crack on the inside and they start seeping out. And the customer will complain after you did an engine or a head job or a valve cover gap or something. Any reason you had to just like move the line a little bit out of the way, if you flex this, you make little micro cracks in it. It's 40, 50 years old. It is brittle like a little tube of glass that you drop on the ground, and you'll put little cracks in it. Do not bend these. If you have to take them off at both ends. Try to work them out because they're stiff, and work them out of the way without bending them. Set them off to the desk on the side, and make sure no young guys come around and go, oh, what's this hose, and start bending it. Because you'll be buying the customer a hose, or they'll be complaining of no refrigerant in a couple weeks or months. What else on these old ones? That's about it. Other than a lot of these had copper gaskets between this male and this female, there'll be a copper gasket. Steel is an excellent material that is perfectly ground, and a soft copper brand new gasket, when it crushes, it does not leak when done properly. If you replace a hose and you have steel here, you have aluminum here, and you go to put, they're both angled, there's no washer, there's no O-rings in there, there's just a crush gasket. The aluminum sometimes is not strong enough to deform and crush the copper all the way, and you end up with leaks. So you either go aluminum to aluminum. If you do go to aluminum to steel, sometimes you have to leave that crush washer out of there because it won't crush enough to seal. And so basically you mar in your gown, you crush the end of the aluminum against the tapered little flare at the end, right at this point, and it's best leaving the copper out sometimes. Just things everybody's supposed to know. If you went to any of the classes, your older instructors taught you this stuff when you were young. If not, you learn by mistakes, and they call that learning. See you guys later.